Grey Cup champions, the riders and their fans relish in their victory. Saskatoon looking at transportation safety. Will the city see transit police in the coming months? And the Huskies on the road to the Vanier Cup.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with last night's big win. The Saskatchewan Roughriders taking their 5th CFL title and the first in 12 years after beating the Montreal Alouettes 25-17. Donovan Mace with a look at the Saskatchewan success story.
Last play.
It is SR time in 2025.
Needs a touchdown. Heaving it down the field. Into the end zone. Deflected and it falls to the field. And Gray has just turned green and white.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders Grey Cup champions for the first time since 2013.
We say it fast enough, it's our time. So we need to get some t-shirts printed up that says that's our time. And it was our time, and I was glad we were able to come through.
We knew that we were able to retain a bunch of guys and keep the core. Going into year 2 as a group, there's no reason why we shouldn't be here tonight. And then here we are.
Harris, and he gets it underneath Ellis, and afterwards rounds the corner.
Trevor Harris winning his first Grey Cup as a starting quarterback in the CFL, being named the game's most outstanding player.
I feel like I'm just getting started to be in a way, but just couldn't be more grateful to do it with this group of guys.
3 receivers out to the right. Harris looking that way. It's complete. It's Ellis inside the 20.
While Samuel Amelis voted most outstanding Canadian.
It just had to happen against them. It was definitely motivation, and we made it happen. Everybody in the organization made it happen.
Offensive coordinator Mark Mueller, along with 6 players on this championship team, are locally grown. Born and raised in Saskatchewan, now lifting the cup in the green and white they grew up loving.
It means so much to me because my family can be a part of it. They're a huge part of it. And I'm just so that this group has been special since we got here.
Having the province behind us, so to be able to bring that back to them is something we're super excited about. We brought it home. We brought it home, Rider Nation. Couldn't be more happy. Rider Nation deserves this. It's been way too long.
And the Grey Cup returning to Rider Nation.
I'm so happy for the province. I'm happy for Rider Nation, everybody back home. I can't wait to come and celebrate with everybody. We really appreciate Rider Nation, man. They stuck with us through and through. We love you, Rider Nation. Let's go, man. Come on.
The confetti now settled. The celebration just beginning.
What does that feel like? Man, it feels just like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, baby.
Donovan May, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Everybody.
Many Rider fans who didn't make it out to Winnipeg opted to spend their Grey Cup Sunday with fellow fans here in Saskatchewan. Sports on Tap was a sea of green and white with fans cheering loudly for their team. It was a big day for Rider Nation, and the Saskatoon fans certainly showed up for Saskatchewan's big win. And in Regina, fans poured out onto Albert Street at Victoria Avenue, which is known as the Green Mile. Some playing instruments, others reveling in the streets, exhilarated by the Riders' Grey Cup win. Fans will be back at the Green Mile tomorrow as the Grey Cup parade is scheduled for the afternoon. Jeff, a rather mild weekend to do some celebrating on the streets.
Absolutely, and certainly we had reason to celebrate here in Saskatoon starting on Saturday because the Huskies are off to the Vanier Cup. My throat's a little sore, maybe a little too much yelling, maybe. Anyways, it was all in a good cause. We're keeping our eye on this system that's still making its way through Saskatchewan. We're anticipating more in the way of rain, not so much snow, but certainly some rain this evening. And then a second system starts to roll in as we get into tomorrow night, and that looks like it's bringing substantive snow on Tuesday night into Wednesday, and we'll talk about all that a little later on.
A Court of King's Bench justice will now decide who pulled the trigger in a Saskatoon murder case. 28-year-old Andrew Rosenfeld is charged with second-degree murder in the death of his girlfriend, 20-year-old Nikira Brown. The defense says Brown died by suicide, arguing she had a history of suicidal ideation and that her gunshot wound is consistent with a self-inflicted injury. It also says there were no signs of a struggle. The Crown says there's no evidence Brown was suicidal that night and that she didn't fight Rosenfeld because she didn't believe he would kill her. The prosecution called the relationship tumultuous and says Rosenfeld overheard a call with Brown's brother about plans to leave, then reported her death to 911 a minute later. A date to deliver the verdict has not yet been set. Saskatoon City Councillors will weigh the option of having dedicated transit police when budget talks begin next week. Keenan Sorokon has more on safety concerns from riders.
Robert Clipperton says some seniors are riding Saskatoon buses in fear, and it's time the city addresses their concerns.
Seniors who have the choice to take access, and they'll take access where they used to take the regular transit because they're afraid.
Council will look at spending $1.6 million on 9 officers and 2 patrol cars specifically dedicated as transit police. Clipperton feels if the city is preparing to launch a $250 million bus rapid transit program in 3 years, people have the right to feel safe on the bus.
Let's get this dealt with and things working smoothly before we go full tilt into the BRT.
The city currently has 14 transit supervisors helping employees when there are issues. Another dozen firefighters patrol buses in business improvement districts, with commissionaires also patrolling bus terminals. Reported incidents have gone down the last 2 years, but the transit union is still looking to the city for additional enforcement.
I think we can say that some of the social ills that have taken over some of our streets in Saskatoon have naturally spilled over onto the transit system.
Last week, Winnipeg said its expanded fare enforcement program is working, with nearly 5,000 people, or about 73% of checks from officers, denied rides. Saskatoon doesn't currently enforce fare payments, as drivers are encouraged to avoid negative interactions. Another tool the city is looking to use is additional Indigenous non-police workers called peacekeepers to patrol Riversdale and downtown after seeing success in the summer,
where that Indigenous-led approach really made an enormous difference.
Councillors will meet next week to discuss adding both items to the 2026 budget. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan residents who can't find a family doctor will soon have another option. The provincial government has cleared the way for nurse practitioners to establish medical clinics and provide services covered by Medicare. Wayne Mantika reports.
It's estimated that 200,000 Saskatchewan residents don't have a regular family doctor. Now they will have the option of seeking care through a group of nurse practitioners.
Really exciting to see how nurse practitioners are playing a larger and larger role in primary care in Saskatchewan and making sure that patients not only have access but are attached to a primary care provider.
Medicare will cover the cost for 19 nurse practitioners through a pilot program. The nurse practitioners will be located in several communities.
There's some that are urban, Regina, Saskatoon, but there's also contracts that are in Prince Albert, Wilkie, Cardiff, Estevan, to name a few off the top of my head. But it allows for a better expansion of primary care access for residents in all of those communities.
The first nurse practitioner clinic has opened in Regina. For patients, it will be similar to visiting a family doctor.
Providing, like comprehensive assessments for patients, providing a diagnosis. We will be ordering labs or x-rays, any imaging that they can get from a primary care physician, we can also provide.
The NDP opposition endorses the idea.
I think that nurse practitioners have a very important role in team-based care, absolutely. I think that we need to be looking at utilizing them more, absolutely.
The government expects that patients will be well served, with plans already being made to expand the pilot program. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
The appeal over a decision about a Vern's Pizza franchise has been dismissed. In September of last year, a judge ordered Vern's Pizza in Sutherland to stop using the name due to the franchise agreement expiring in 2016. The owners had a franchise agreement in 2000. That agreement stipulated that they would run 2 locations on Central Avenue and 8th Street. The 8th Street location closed in 2016 when the landlord sold the building, ending the agreement. The owners, however, continued to operate the Sutherland location, which eventually led Vern's Pizza to take legal action. Prince Albert City Council will crunch the numbers this week as budget deliberations get underway. The proposed 2026 budget includes a proposed increase of $4.4 million funded by this year's increases in property tax. It also includes $2.1 million in spending cuts across all departments following an internal spending review.
We had, a rough year. We know that we had to, accommodate increases that maybe we didn't get from previous years, but we can't continue that same trajectory. Frankly, what we are really needing to do is increase our commercial and industrial footprint.
Notable expenses in the proposed budget include $1 million for the 6th Avenue Viaduct Bridge reconstruction. Budget deliberations are scheduled for Wednesday to Friday. Well, the Riders not the only football team basking in victory this weekend. The U of S Huskies won the Mitchell Bowl over the weekend and are headed for the Vanier Cup. Hallie Mandrick has more on their successful Saturday.
The University of Saskatchewan Huskies are heading to the Vanier Cup. The Huskies took down the Queen's Golden Gales on Saturday afternoon with a final score of 22-11.
He'll take a knee, and that's it. The Saskatchewan Huskies are going back to the Vanier Cup.
After Queens scored the first point with a single, Huskies quarterback Jake Farrell found Daniel Wiebe for the first touchdown of the game, establishing a lead that the Huskies would keep for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, I feel like, anytime you're in a big game like this, you try to go to your best players, and obviously Daniel Wiebe being, the best receiver in the country, you want to get in the ball early. So, I mean, that's just a prime example of him, getting the ball and doing what he does.
The momentum continued as Daniel Kabungo ran for 85 yards with a touchdown return, also earning him the title of Offensive Player of the Game. Linebacker Seth Hundeby was named Defensive Player of the Game thanks to his 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble.
It's one of those moments when, the opportunity presents itself. It's like, holy cow, it worked. So, I really got to think, we do those types of plays all the time where it's like, if you ever get in that situation, what are you going to do? It's like, punch the ball out and whatnot. So I got to thank my coaches. They really set me up for that one.
A frequent sight throughout the game, players holding up one finger on each hand, signifying the number 11, a sign of solidarity with the team's starting quarterback, Anton Amandrud, who recently received a cancer diagnosis, forcing him to step away after Week 5.
Going into the game, we all knew who we were doing it for. I was able to speak to Anton yesterday, and he told me to get him a big one. And as soon as before I even crossed the goal line, I knew what I was going to throw up. I knew I was going to, go to the camera and just tell Ace we love him, because we really do, and we're doing this for him.
The Huskies will head to Regina on Saturday to face off against the Montreal Carabins for the Vanier Cup. A handful of those on the team were present to play in the Cup in 2021 and 22, falling short both times. And head coach Scott Flory says those memories are serving as fuel for the team.
The core of these guys have been around through 21 and 22. They've felt that disappointment, but there's a different edge to this group right now, and you can see that on the field. You can see it in the play. You can see it in the preparation from our end, and you can feel it. You can feel it in the physicality and how we're playing. There's a focus here.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Back to the Riders' victory. The team returned home to Regina to a hero's welcome at Mosaic Stadium. Jacob Carr was there.
The 112th Grey Cup champions, Saskatchewan Roughriders!
The morning after the Riders hoisted the Grey Cup and green and white confetti flute at Princess Auto Stadium, fans of the team were eager to get their hands on some Grey Cup merch at the Rider store.
T-shirts.
Whether it was Grey Cup champions hats or T-shirts, the clothing was flying off the shelves.
What a great game. It was good to watch. Let's get worried at the end of it, though.
And as players made their way back to Mosaic Stadium, Rider Nation was there to greet them, some saying that they couldn't miss this opportunity to welcome the team home.
I went down to Winnipeg on Friday, drove from Saskatoon 8 hours, but had to come, so on my way back home, I had to come support them.
Then it was time for some of the riders to deliver speeches and get the crowd fired up.
So this Grey Cup is your guys' as well. And so anybody that wants to say we only got 5, well, guess what? How many did they get this year?
Next up for the green and white is the Grey Cup Parade, and for some, it'll be a first-time experience, even if they've been covering local sports for 40-plus years.
I've been to Grey Cup parades with my mom in Toronto in 76, 78, Montreal 79, 81, Toronto in 80. You know, the Grey Cup parade preceding the game. I've never been to a Rider Grey Cup victory parade, and so I'll take one off the bucket list tomorrow.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Local families will receive a boost this holiday season thanks to the efforts of Saskatchewan organizations. Operation Santa launched this morning at the White Buffalo Youth Lodge. 16 nonprofit community organizations will take part in the Adopt a Family program, which will provide hampers filled with food, winter clothing, and other essential items. Organizers say providing for people is especially important as the number of families in need grows.
The goal is still 750. We do know we're going to go well and above that number. And it's all referral-based is one of the things about Operation Santa. It's referral-based because the organizations that work on the ground know their families. It's anonymous. They don't know they're getting any hampers. They don't know they're getting any surprises during the holiday season.
Operation Santa has been running for more than 10 years now. Local athletes will benefit one sweet treat at a time. Tim Hortons Holiday Smile Cookie campaign kicked off today with the money raised going toward the Tim Hortons Foundation camps, as well as the Saskatchewan Wheelchair Sports Association. Special guests, including wheelchair athletes, the Saskatoon Blades, plus members of local government and emergency services, were at a local Tim Hortons location putting the finishing touches on the cookies.
And excited to give back to the community who so generously supports us. Half of the proceeds will go to Sask Wheelchair Sports, and we are also thrilled that half of the proceeds will go to Tim Hortons Foundation's camps.
The campaign runs until November 23rd. Santa is officially in Saskatoon for the season. The 34th annual Santa Claus Parade wound its way through the streets of Saskatoon yesterday, which were lined with families eager to enjoy some Christmas cheer. Our CTV crew was out enjoying the mild temperatures. The charity of choice for this year's parade was Haven Kids House, formerly known as Saskatoon Crisis Nursery, which provides 24/7 emergency childcare for families in need. And a quick reminder, nominations are open for the Saskatoon Citizen of the Year Award, which is presented by CTV. The Citizen of the Year Award is given each year to an individual who exemplifies excellence in community service and is making a difference in our community. To find out how to nominate that special someone, guides are available here at CTV Saskatoon or on our website. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December 5th, and we will announce this year's recipient on December 31st. Still to come, why some cancer rates are cause for concern. Also, the results of the crucial vote on the budget. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. It was make or break for Mark Carney's government today, and just a few minutes ago, the Liberal minority managed to get the votes it needed to pass the federal budget and avoid an early election. Had the vote failed, Canadians would have been sent back to the polls just months after electing this government in April. There were a handful of combinations of yes votes and abstentions from opposition MPs to pass the budget. In the end, Green Party leader Elizabeth May voted for the budget, and at least 2 NDP members of Parliament abstained. The vote was 170 in favor to 168 opposed. A Calgary man and his daughter have died after being swept into the ocean by a large wave in California.
The storm that passed through created a large swell that's generated very big waves here at Garrapata State Beach.
It happened on Friday in an area known for rip currents. The local sheriff's office says 39-year-old UG Hugh and the girl's mother, who is not being identified, went into the water to try and save their daughter. The girl had been swept into the ocean by waves as high as 6 meters. Both parents were taken to hospital, where Hugh later died. The mother is in stable condition. After more than 2 decades of progress, cervical cancer rates are no longer declining, and the Canadian Cancer Society warns the country may not reach its goal of eliminating cervical cancer by 2040. Sarah Plowman has those details.
Every day, hundreds of Canadians hear those dreaded words. You have cancer. For Linda Wu, that moment happened 35 years ago when she saw a doctor for her pregnancy and learned she had cervical cancer.
If I hadn't gotten pregnant, I wouldn't have known. I would have been like every other woman who discovered it when it was too late.
A new report shows after a long period of steady decline, cervical cancer rates have plateaued, even though experts say it's preventable.
This really highlights that we aren't making the progress that we had seen before.
For women aged 35 to 55, cervical cancer is actually increasing.
The rates now in 2022 are the same as they were in 1992.
The report's authors point to several factors behind the shift.
Increased transmission of human papillomavirus, or HPV as some people know it, low uptake of the HPV vaccine, lower cervical screening rates.
Dr. Amanda Selk says cervix cancer doctors are noticing more cancer cases, and some are more advanced.
Cervix cancer is a terrible, terrible disease, and if we can prevent it for so many people, if you can just get yourself screened and follow through with treatment. We treat people all the time, and they do really well.
Most cervical cancers are caused by human papillomavirus, HPV. Vaccines are offered in schools, but coverage continues to lag below targets. Screening methods are also changing as provinces move to HPV testing, a move the Canadian Cancer Society wants all governments to follow.
We want to be able to say by 2040, no one will have this cancer in Canada.
The report did show that cancer mortality rates overall have gone down, and mortality rates for lung, colorectal, and bladder cancers have been declining rapidly. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Air travel is getting back on schedule south of the border. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has lifted all flight reductions that were put into place during the government shutdown. The reductions were meant to combat staffing issues with air traffic controllers, which worsened during the shutdown as they worked without pay. It's a relief for many travelers, with 6 million people expected to fly over the U.S. Thanksgiving. Fewer snowbirds say they'll be heading south this winter, with many looking to spend their winter overseas instead. An online poll from Snowbird Advisor shows a 15% drop in the number of Canadians planning to head stateside. Meanwhile, the number of residents planning to travel to Mexico, Spain, or another warm destination has nearly doubled. More than half of people surveyed said while they are skipping a trip to the U.S. this year, they would consider returning in the future. U.S. President Donald Trump is now urging Republican lawmakers to vote to release the Jeffrey Epstein files, a complete reversal from his previous position. Trump has faced repeated questions about his links to Epstein and his potential knowledge of the late financier's sex trafficking operation. Trump has maintained he has nothing to hide in connection with Epstein, but questions about his relationship with the convicted sex offender who died in 2019 have fueled speculation and led to fractures with loyalists in Congress. Several Republicans have indicated they are willing to break ranks and vote in favor of a bill which would compel the U.S. government to make public all of the documents on Epstein.
I'm Jill Turcotte of the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra. I'm inviting you to join us on November 22nd at 7:30 at TCU Place, where you'll hear your orchestra playing the soundtrack to National Geographic's The Secrets of the Whales. It's going to be a fantastic show. You can get your tickets online at saskatoonsymphony.org. What's the weather going to be like?
Well, Gilles, it looks like it's going to be a pretty warm day by late November standards. We've got ourselves a daytime high coming up on Saturday of 5 degrees. Mainly cloudy skies, still a pretty pleasant day. And, you know, all in all, that's pretty nice for the, as I say, the latter part of November. Once again, you can get your tickets by going to the Symphony website. Let's take a look at our current temperature right now in Saskatoon. It is 5 degrees. Winds out of the east-southeast at 15. Prince Albert dealing with some flurries at the moment. Winds a little bit stronger there. East-southeasterly winds at 24 clicks. Not quite as windy in the Battlefords where it's clear, and we've got 2 degrees. The almanac for Saskatoon, today's daytime high 7 degrees. Typically we should be around -2. 15, the record warm temperature on this date in 2009. The record cold temperature from almost a century ago, -28 degrees. The sun came up at 8:30 and it went down at 5:12.
Coming up, a competition of strength, how some got the upper hand.
An historic appointment Tuesday on Your Morning. Meet the first Indigenous Chancellor of the University of Regina and what he hopes to accomplish in his term.
All right, let's take a look at what we've got going on through the live lens of Skycam. A great shot of the glittering city below us, outside. And we can tell you that we've had a pretty pleasant day today, and it looks like these milder than seasonal temperatures are going to continue. But we are going to be seeing or dealing with some showers and some snow. We're going to talk about that momentarily. And, of course, the horrible situation going on in California with all the rain that they have received and the problems therein. So we'll keep you apprised of those situations as they develop. Another system down in the U.S. of A., but really what we're dealing with along Canada's west coast as things are going to start to calm down a little bit, a bit of a break there. We have one system moving through Saskatchewan, another one's going to develop in the Elbow region of Alberta. That's going to move along the Yellowhead, and that's where we're going to be seeing much more of this snow tomorrow night into Wednesday. So let's take a look at our numbers. Just to recap, there you go, 5 degrees in Saskatoon, 2 in Prince Albert with flurries, 2 under clear skies in the Battlefords. Excuse me, the hot spot for the province. Maple Creek at 14 degrees. Stony Rapids, the cold spot, at -18. On to the current conditions. 1 degree in Lloydminster, 1 as well in Estevan and Yorkton, 7 in Moose Jaw, and 3 in Regina. Taking a quick look at what's going on in the central part of the province, we've got ourselves temperatures hovering around that 1 or 2 degree mark in many places. And then as we get south of the Yellowhead, it starts to jump up to around 5 or 6 degrees. Then as we take a look up north, -8 degrees in Stony Rapids, -7 in Collins Bay, -6 in South End, -1 in La Ronge and Buffalo Narrows. Okay, here we go. And then down south, as you can see, yeah, remember when I was saying there was a bit of a glitch with the Weyburn? I think it's a big glitch, because I can guarantee you it is not -36 in Weyburn right now. So that's an automatic station they've been having problems with. You can certainly see 9 degrees in Maple Creek, 1 in Carlisle, and 1 in Melville. So as you make your way eastward, temperatures drop off, as it often does. Okay, here we go. The futurecast, as you can see, mostly snow, and it's a sort of a north-south line sort of slicing across the province. But then there's that secondary system that I was telling you about coming across, and that will be impacting Saskatchewan as we make our way into Wednesday night and Thursday. There is a snowfall warning for the extreme northwestern part of the province up around Lake Athabasca and Uranium City. So we do anticipate a fair amount of snow in that area. Down around the northern part of the province, we have a mix of sky conditions and temperatures of -1 in La Ronge, -6 in Stony Rapids and Key Lake, -3 in Buffalo Narrows. Then into the west central part of the province, -1 in Meadow Lake, 0 in Spiritwood, Kindersley 3 and 4 in Rosetown. 6 in Maple Creek, 5 in Leader. Outlook 3 degrees, 4 in Swift Current. A little bit of chance of some showers in Outlook tomorrow, and that's true of Regina as well. Not great for parade conditions, so hopefully it moves through fairly quickly. 6 as well in Moose Jaw, 7 in Estevan, 4 in Yorkton, 2 in Melfort and Humboldt and Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay, maybe some flurries, and then 3 degrees for Watrous, but on just cloudy skies. So a rain-snow mix for the Battlefords, -2, 1 degree tomorrow with light and variable winds, cloudy skies, and then temperatures sort of hanging around that 1 degree mark for a couple of days, but 3 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and 0 degrees 1 week from today, and that's still above seasonal. For Prince Albert, a good chance for showers, -1, 1 on the plus side tomorrow. And then we've got ourselves, basically hanging around that 0-degree mark for a few days. We have very good chance of some flurries on Wednesdays as some accumulation will be involved there. 4 degrees on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and -2 on Monday. And finally for Saskatoon, we've got some rain expected with some fog patches overnight, and that rain lingers into tomorrow, but then it will taper off. A high of 2 degrees, and then as you can see, 2 as well on Wednesday, but we get into that moisture starting with Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then temperatures warming up to 5 by Saturday, but cooling off to 1 by Monday. MKG or Machine Gun Kelly taking to the stage for a halftime show at last night's Grey Cup. The singer performed a number of his hits, including Don't Wait, Run Fast off his latest album. And even though MGK wore a football jersey during his performance, he wasn't supporting either team. Now, it kind of looked like a San Diego Chargers design from back in the day. Now, he's from Cleveland, but I'm guessing he doesn't want to wear a Browns jersey.
In the world of magic, everything that disappears reappears. It is very good to be back.
The latest entry in a heist movie franchise stole #1 at the box office this weekend. Now You See Me, Now You Don't is the 3rd film in the Now You See Me franchise. It debuted with $21.3 million U.S. across North America. The new take on The Running Man starring Glenn Powell opened in 2nd place with $17 million in ticket sales, and Predator Badlands fell to 3rd place with $13 million in its 2nd weekend, and that's more than a 65% drop in ticket sales for that movie. And Tom Cruise received his first Oscar, the Academy Honorary Award at the Governor's Awards. Cruise gave an emotional speech after accepting the award, paying tribute to all of the people who make films possible, as well as the unifying power of movies. Cruise has been nominated for 4 Oscars in the past, including Best Actor for Born on the 4th of July and Jerry Maguire. He also received a Best Supporting Actor nomination for Magnolia and Best Picture for his role as a producer on Top Gun Maverick.
All right, Jeff, Riderville celebrating, and they have flooded our inbox with pics of the day.
They sure did, and some of these are from around the world. So we're going to start off with this one right now. Some people in Texas. There we go. This is from Sheldon down in Houston, and these people were watching it, as I mentioned. So they're in the cowboy hat. That's Tanya, and then we have Pino, Karen, and Sheldon, the person who sent us the photo. So Sheldon, thanks for sharing that, and thanks for cheering on the riders from down there in the Lone Star State. Our colleague Blair cheering on the riders along with a few people in Mexico, and the group included his mom Joan, to whom we would like to wish a belated happy birthday. Her birthday was on Saturday, so nice Rancho Relaxo way to watch the riders. And finally, a lot closer to home, this is from Evergreen. According to Brian, Norm says, way to go riders, 2025 Grey Cup champions, time to get a new jersey. I think there are going to be a lot of people getting new jerseys out there, so thanks Brian. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca or scan the QR code on the screen, and you can send us those images.
Still to come on CTV News, putting strength to the test, the competition that saw all hands on deck. Saskatchewan's top arm wrestlers put their strength to the test this weekend, facing off in a double elimination tournament. CTV's Damian Smith checked out what it takes to go over the top.
Forearm, bicep, and tricep strength are being put to the test at Bronco's Pub and Grill in Pilot Butte. Local resident Jackson Oliver is fresh off of winning the provincial tournament back in July.
You could beat someone like 2 times stronger than you, maybe. Not 3 times. Like, the grip matters a lot, like where you start. Like, the smallest thing can make the biggest difference. if you can be stronger than someone else.
Included in the tournament was the youth competition for those under 18 years of age, men's open and amateur, and women's open. Oliver, who also competed in the men's tournament, notes that the sport is not all force and strength.
So there's top roll. It's when you turn this way, and then there's cupping this way. There's a whole bunch of stuff like hooking when you're like this.
Solomon Latimer, president of Saskatchewan Arm Wrestling, is also one of the 3 referees and has seen the sport grow over the years throughout the nation. The love for the competition is something that starts in many contestants' family kitchens and backyards.
Once you're so many years into the sport, I suggest you to actually take a reffing clinic because it teaches you a lot more the more you move on.
In high competition stakes, Solomon states that it's not always the strongest arm that wins. A competitor may eliminate themselves without even realizing it.
Break arm positions like letting your hand pass your shoulder or going in a hyperextension where your shoulder goes underneath the table. More or less point out the things you don't want to be doing.
Great advice to gain the upper hand and smash the competition, whether it's at a tournament or your next family gathering. Damian Smith, CTV News, Pilot Butte.
When we come back, a check on the housing market and how Saskatchewan is faring. And later, quite the creation made from a Christmas staple.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at our rural forecast. And as you can see, temperatures, they're still pretty good for this time of year. So we do have some rain in the outlook. As you can see, though, other places basically talking about cloudy or mainly cloudy conditions. Possibility of some flurries in the Hudson Bay area. This is sort of hit and miss with regard to these systems as they make their way across the province. So 2 degrees tomorrow for Hudson Bay. We expect that to sort of taper off and then may pick up later in the evening. Down south, well, you can certainly see there's no precipitation expected in southern areas for tomorrow. 5 degrees in Leader, 6 in Maple Creek, 4 in East End, Cypress Hills. Expecting some foggy conditions probably just in the morning. I don't expect that full day ice fog, which I can't really remember a time when we had that before, but that was pretty impressive on the weekend on Grey Cup Sunday. 7 degrees in Coronach and 6 is out there in a number of other places. Kenora, 3 degrees. What about our community of the week? Cut Knife, well, 1 degree tomorrow with cloudy skies and light and variable winds. So a pretty pleasant situation shaping up in Cut Knife for tomorrow. And Cut Knife is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Canada is preparing for a royal visit from Sweden this week. And while talk of whether fighter jets made in the Nordic country will join Canada's military ranks has loomed large over the event, another facet of Sweden's defense strategy has gained momentum in recent months: total defense. CTV's Jean-Vier Boschman reports.
Every Swede says the government has a role in case of attack or crisis.
This is the shelter room.
Nicholas Ivert's task is to convert the storage space attached to his home into a bomb shelter.
This is all the material which was originally provided by the Swedish state.
Ivert bought this home 3 years ago. Ventilation equipment, airlock, big iron doors included. It was outfitted during the Cold War.
Here you can see a map of all the shelters.
It's one of more than 64,000 shelters in Sweden.
I have to open up for the neighbors, and everyone are allowed to come in here.
Ivert once contacted authorities to see whether it would be possible to decommission the space, turn it into a small apartment.
If you would have asked 20 years ago, maybe, or 10 years ago, but nowadays, there's no chance.
The government says escalating geopolitical tensions, the invasion of Ukraine, have changed the world. Enlisting all citizens to prepare, even if it's only to pack an emergency kit, is part of a concept called total defense that the country's defense minister says is key.
We're not going to get the bang for the buck on the defense investment if we don't have strong and resilient societies.
Canada's Cold War-era shelters have largely been destroyed, abandoned, or turned into museums.
Automatically close in case of an explosion on the outside.
In Sweden, public shelters neglected in peacetime are now getting an overhaul.
Inside there are the power unit.
This one, built in the 1950s, that doubles as a parking garage, has been upgraded to provide shelter to 1,200 people.
We have a warning system with air raid shelters, air raid alarm, and so on. And the air raid shelters is the physical way to protect the population.
Louise Louise Ribbing's love of animals has led her to volunteer at the Royal Stables, riding one of the King of Sweden's horses for exercise.
She's kind of frisky, yeah.
But she also joined an organization called Blue Star, originally created to protect animals like cows key to the food chain during wartime. It now extends to caring for pets in times of crisis.
It's something that I can help with in the event that the society needs me and my country needs me.
Now, everyone here, of course, hopes this will never have to be deployed. But being prepared is key to military planning, they say. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Stockholm.
Experts say the housing market is stabilizing in Canada. Morella Fernandez has more on that.
Fewer Canadian homes changed hands last month compared to a year earlier. There was a 4.3% drop in sales in October, but month to month, home sales were up about 1%. Sales were up in BC, Alberta, and Quebec, but down in Ontario, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. The national average sale price in October was just over $690,000. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.17. West Texas Intermediate crude is down just 9 cents to 59.86. Western Canadian Select is up $1.55 to 48.45. And the TSX is down another 250 points today to 30,076. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices, the average price in Saskatoon is just over $1.22 a liter. The lowest price in town is $1.149. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $1.1663 and Nutrien dropped $3.22. Coming up, lighting up the night sky in London. Then how this hotel was made quite gingerly.
Hey there, Derek Chesney here with the Saskatoon Crime Stoppers. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers is a non-profit organization that works with the community in partnership with the public, the media, and the police in a joint commitment to prevent and solve crime in Saskatoon and the province. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers provides the public with the opportunity to anonymously and therefore safely communicate information that they have regarding criminal activity in our community. Our program is entirely funded on community donations and corporate sponsors. If you know about a crime that has been committed, you can leave a tip by calling 1-800-222-8477 or online at our website at saskatooncrimestoppers.com. Tips can be left 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When submitting a tip, the caller will never be asked to reveal their identity. Once a tip has been submitted, a tip number is provided, and the caller's identity is never known to us. We will not ask your name, and you can remain anonymous. Information that is provided to Crime Stoppers can help police build cases in Saskatoon and around the province to reduce, prevent, and solve crimes. Please visit our website for more information. You can also check us out on Instagram and X for updates on active crimes and photos of suspects that are wanted or need identifying. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers, do your part to stop crime in our community.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, London's Kew Gardens is looking quite festive these days. Its annual light display, part of holiday celebrations, is now up. Christmas at the Kew has been on for 13 years now. It started as a way to get people to come out at a quiet time of year, and it's working. They're expecting more than 300,000 visitors between now and the first week of January. This year, visitors can expect to find 8 world-exclusive installations.
That looks wild.
It does.
No kidding.
It's a nice thing to do, by the looks of it. Well, speaking of things that are in the festive season, an Edmonton bakery debuted its most ambitious gingerbread creation yet. This is Wes Anderson's Grand Budapest Hotel. It is made out of 100% edible gingerbread. It's part of a local organization effort helping at-risk youth. People are being invited to drop off warm clothing donations, and they get to enter a raffle. They'll then have a chance to win a demolition party where they can actually destroy the Gingerbread Hotel with a wrecking ball.
That seems almost sacrilegious.
It does.
You know, it's like, yeah, what am I taking there? Where's my sledgehammer?
I wonder if you could just take it home instead of destroying.
I suppose. I don't know how. I know some people hold on to them, and I don't know how you preserve a gingerbread house.
But wrecking it just seems so mean.
Yeah, it does indeed.
But
you ever seen that movie?
Which?
Moving on. Grand Budapest Hotel.
Shane says no weather.
I know.
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm going to survive. It's my voice.
All right. Yes, we know. It's that. Thanks for watching.